Welcome to the Seven Crosses series for Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. We're picking up on the 26th of March 1999. We've managed to get through another winter, but it did get rough in a couple of patches for a reason I'll explain in a little while. But before that, a big thank you for your comments and feedback. You guys give me so much to think about, but I will apologise that I cannot respond to any comments on the previous video because I'm quite literally recording this as that video is being uploaded. The reason for that is that my normal recording day for this video, which would be Friday, is I'm not going to be able to record anything at all because I've actually got to go and work for a living, which is a bit of an unusual experience after the last 2 years. That's the way it goes. What is the current situation? Well, during the winter I had, well, 3 problems. The biggest one was to do with food supply, and probably the best way to explain it is to show you the food factory here. You can see we're keeping a pretty high workforce in here, but what we're not getting is the ability to keep up with the food supply. And I think there's 2 reasons for this. One is if I pause the game and just show you, if we come in here, you'll see that the productivity is really dropping in some areas now. And you can see there's some 40% in there, and I don't think that even if I manage to increase the happiness, this food factory is going to deliver. So what I've done is I've put another food factory up here. This is a modded food factory which can produce 10 tons of food. I did try to get a full-size food factory in here, but because of the power lines here, I just couldn't get it to fit in the way I wanted it. So what I've done is I put another food factory here, and we do need to set this to, because I don't want any back push from here. So it's not closed, it's food. I'm just going to get all the food out here. Make that 100%, so that will give us 50 tons of food into there. And what that should mean is that we can be able to draw on the crops from this existing warehouse where the biofuel plant is. And of course we're going to need to increase the population, so I've put another block of flats in. It's probably a little bit close to the food factory, but we're just going to have to take a chance on that because I do need to get the actual overall performance up. What actually happened was we didn't exactly run out of food, but we got to a couple of points, especially I think Colville seems to be very susceptible. And what happened is, I just want to check actually to see if the food supplies have built back up again. Yes, they built back up again now. What happened was it was getting down to the point where these were having intermittent food supplies, probably the best way to describe it, especially this one here. You can see it's still, oh, it's not that one, it's this one. And things got a little bit dire, and what I had to do was, if I come up over here, is I effectively put a couple of covered holes, spare covered holes, into this distribution office. So what I'm doing now is I'm pulling food out of here. As long as this is over 50%, I'm pulling the food from here and sending it to Stilton here, and which is keeping the food supply fairly high here, which then reduced the drag on the overall food that was being distributed. And that kind of got me through, but it got very close, and I'm not sure if I can show the profile for escapees. We can show escapees. You can see there's some really big spikes here, and we're still losing a fair amount at the moment, and that's what's actually giving me a problem. But that is mainly due to out here, and I think what's actually happened now, no, not here, sorry, here, is that the problems in this area are really started to kick in because we've got no secret police or normal police station here. So the population here is completely collapsing now, and I think this is a pretty graphic example of the fact that if you don't provide the policing, your population will hold up for a certain amount of time, but it will eventually collapse. So what we're going to be doing is putting in a police station over here. Now the other thing I've also done in Knife Edge is I've shut down the biofuel plant here, so there's no longer any workforce, and I just want to keep an eye on this. We've still got some fuel in here, because what I want to do is actually draw the fuel from over here, because we got a pretty strong fuel supply at the moment. You can see the reason we got only 800 tons in here is the fact that we are exporting fuel and bitumen now. So we are getting a bit of a flow of fuel in that direction. Other thing I want to show you is over in Stilton again. I should have showed it to you when we were over here before. I was monitoring this through the winter as well, and the one single train didn't really hack it. And even at the moment, you can see that it's still not going. And what I've done is if I come in here and show you this route here, I now have 3 trains running on this line now. And I think there's 2 420s, and then there's one, where is it? Are they all 420? Maybe they're all 420. So I've now got 3 trains delivering iron ore to here, because what was happening is that because this is now supplying both the steel mill and the our steel mill back in Colville. What was happening is that the steel mill in Colville was running out of iron ore, so we're now pushing this a little bit here, and hopefully that will. I mean, I'm not expected to completely fix the problem, but what it should do is actually give us a little bit more of a steady supply of steel into the overall system. And then that brings me up to this area here where we're going to be doing a little bit of work in this part, just because we need to get a courthouse in here. And I've actually realized, I was looking at this, if I show you here, I think there's even a secret police out here at the moment, so we're going to have to try and do something about that. The other thing I want to check as well while we're at this is that there's so many things to do, is the prison, because during the winter the prison was getting very close to full, so we've obviously got a lot of crime. So that's another reason why I want to get this mining town built up and running, simply because I feel that we need to get a bit more prison capacity in already, because we are running at around 39,000 at the moment, and I think that covers most of the bits and pieces. What we're going to do is we're going to get over here and we're going to put a small courthouse in and a small secret police. We're going to use modded versions, not courthouse, police station. It's going to be quite interesting to see if this will actually recover. Or police station. I think what we'll have to do is put it over here. We'll put a police station over here. It needs heating, so of course it's going to be a little bit out of context, but I don't think the governments in the past are ever too worried about there. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to call our helicopter crews in, try and get this done as quickly. So that's the police station. And what I'm also going to do is put some secret police in here so that we can get a better track of the loyalty. So we're going to put in secret police. I think I've got a very small one. I don't think we need a lot. That number of workers, 40. Got a small secret police. Wow, it's small, but it's big. I think we can probably put you. I think there's a little bit of roughness there, so we'll put the secret police just next to whatever that is. I think that's the indoor swimming pool actually, but we'll put the secret police there. Get the helicopters working on that. So hopefully we will be able to recover this over time, but it's going to be a little bit dire. But I mean, if all the population goes, that's the way it is. While we're over here, if we make our way back, I just want to give you a bit of an update of what's going on over here as well. What we've finally got is we've got our dry bulk storage running. We're now producing prefabs, and at the moment all I'm doing is using the prefabs to supply the local route here, so that we're no longer hauling prefabs all the way up from Knife Edge. I still need to do a little bit of work on the distribution offices. While we're here, just a quick check of the food. Yeah, we've kind of got the food in there working. And one of the interesting things is, if you look at this, it appears to be empty, but what you'll see is I've got 160 tons of prefabs in here. What I am doing is working on this distribution office here, and when this is finished, what I'm going to do is use this to export prefabs and cement, so that we can make a bit more money, because money is getting a little bit tricky at the moment. we are making a small profit, but the cost of vehicles, of course, the big problem is still electronics. So that gets that done. So what we're going to do now is just go back over to here, wherever it is, and we need to plan in. We've got secret police out here. What we don't have is the courthouse. I just want to check. That's the school, the kindergarten. I think we've got a school and a kindergarten over here. We're going to need to get a lot of population into this area. We've actually got the cableway done, but we don't want anybody in here at the moment. I'm not sure where those passengers are coming from because nobody should be living out here. Oh, well, maybe we can just have a cadre of people here trying to keep everything going. Right, we'll just get your loyalty here. But of course they won't have any police or anything like that. So we need a courthouse in here. And I am actually going to go for a full-sized courthouse here. So, well, maybe not. Where could I put a full-sized courthouse? Probably put it just about there, couldn't I? Not courthouse, what am I on about? Police station, that's a bit better. I thought it looked a bit big. We can, if I could get, it would be brilliant if I could get it there, but that's going to crush that. I think, I'm not exactly sure what that is due to infrastructure. What is in this area? It's probably touching that. I think we'll put it, I think I'm going to go back to where I was before. I think we'll just put it over here because we're going to bring some housing this way anyway. So, and that will, so we're going to get a courthouse in here. And then again, we're going to, this, we certainly need that being built now. And I think I could do with another bit of accommodation out here. Whole rings of buildings here. School, we got no university here because we're going to use the university to do it. I don't want any workers wandering around here, please. And of course, what we're also going to do is, well, while we're going across, the heating plant here is now technically up and running. So what we could do is set a bus route up here. Although I'm not sure the heating buildings without a power supply. Where is the power supply for here? You've got power. Temperature building is too low. Yep. Well, we've got a power supply here. I mean, this is covering this area here. And I'm pretty sure that we had a power supply out here. I think what we're going to do is we're going to put a power supply around here. We've got a power takeoff there. If I put in, maybe we'll put power supply in just about, I could put it there. That'd be pretty cool. Can't build you to, there we can bring it in a bit like that, just about there. And we can put a mud road in here. And then run the power supply from here to here, so we can run you out across the back like that. There, except that. And we're just allocating the one power supply in here. Stop production. Who's stop production? We have a population collapse here. So that's just the way it's going to be. So we're, at the moment, we're probably losing as many people as we're getting. So we're in a little bit of a dire circumstance, is probably the polite way of saying it. But I think if we can get things going, actually, are we losing population in any areas? You're maxed out. You're maxed out. Got lots of children. Got to make sure that we're not losing any population up here. A little bit of population loss here. That could be due to old age. Because of course, if we're not producing over 21s, of course, we're probably losing population from here because of the pollution. But there's not much I can do about that. We're just going to have to keep trying to work on the birth rate. I think overall the population is good. Now we've sorted out the construction crews. What I want is, I don't think these guys have got a lot. You only got Stilton Tower, main tower. We certainly want you working on that. You can work on that. And you can work on that. I think the helicopter crews can do the lining. We can get this operational. We've got fuel out here, haven't we? And we've got a small clinic here that's got some staff in as well. So we can probably, I was thinking about it, we're probably going to need a full-size hospital out over this way eventually, simply because we're going to need a lot of workforce in here. Because looking at the capacity for Stilton, this here, and the sheer amount of iron ore that we need to bring in, I'm starting to think that we're going to need to have, how can you say it, we're going to need to probably deliver 1,000 tons a day or plus. If we're getting some steel in here, let me just check here. We're not getting large quantities of steel in here. How are we doing over here? So what I'm relying on is the helicopters to actually deliver the steel. I'm not sure if you guys have got, you've got a whole list of things to do, but it can be okay. So we're gonna come out here. We're delivering to here. Here, you could probably do a little bit of a delivery there and there. I think a lot of the stuff out here has already been delivered to as well, so it's just a question of putting it together. Of course, once we get the roads finished here, we can start delivering out to here. I think I'd like to get this finished. I think we'll put the helicopter guys on here because I think all you need is 35 tons of steel. Oh, just 35 tons of steel. Just find it in my back pocket somewhere. And just to show you what's going on over here, this steel mill is functioning, but it's still got the odd problem because of the slightly inconsistent supply of iron ore. But eventually what this will be doing is just providing the steel to make the mechanical components here, so we can do that. The other problem area I was getting was a few problems in this area. We were losing the workforce, but it looks like got no workforce in the wood cutting post. But we've got quite a lot of wood here, because of course we're not dependent on wood for heating. So as long as we got some workers in here, and we've got a little bit of bitumen coming in, because we got a bit of reserve tank here, so that's doing okay. Let me just go back to slowly putting this together. I was putting some footpaths through here because what I'm hoping is that we might be able to get some foot traffic. Right, we can get foot traffic from that one, from this one. If we finish this one and people move in, we'll be good. We're still not getting any over 21s. Just want to make sure that we're not losing. I think because I didn't. I think it was in the last part that I actually turned on. Oops, go out here. No one's allowed to move into here. I mean, it's probably affecting my income from tourism. Let me just have a quick look. Last month, yeah, I mean, we're only earning 1/10 of what we used to do before. But I think if we can get this built and then we can get the workforce in here, make them happy, just to show you the current situation here. It's abysmal. Well, we can't show you that, but happiness 18%. And I think this is a good example. They've got all the food. Healthcare is still pretty good. They've got a little bit of alcohol, but of course the whole lot's thing. I mean, the culture's dropping because there's not enough staff. The sport is similar, but they've got the essentials here. It goes to show that without the police station to ensure crime, it's all falling apart. In fact, if we just pause the game so we can take a look, yeah, you can see average productivity 30%, player alcohol lifespan 58 years, and these are 29-year-olds, 43, lifespan 68. So the productivity now is below 30%, so it's pretty abysmal. And a big problem with that is actually electronics. And I suppose that's the next thing I need to think about. And I've been trying to work out a way that I can get some temporary electronics production, because I can't really afford, even with the amount of money that I'm making, if we actually look at current prices for electronics, you can see 1 ton to buy is 117,000 rubles, which is, I mean, we could buy them from the border if we had a connection, but that's still $92,000, and we don't really have the money for that. If I remember correctly, if we go back to economy, imports, yeah, we're importing a very small amount of electronics, but I can't really increase that, I don't think. And if we go and have a look in, where is it? It'd be up here. My electronics import is the same as my, we got here, we got no electronics at the moment. And I think if we go to here, one of these offices is actually doing the electronics importing, but I'd have to find it. Let me just see if I can find, that's it, it's the one at the top here, electronics import. If I go to the bottom here, you can see it's, I'm importing from Knife Edge and it says 100% to here, but of course I've only set it to 5 tons. Actually, is it actually importing? Let me just check, because I might have turned off the Knife Edge load. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on and turn off the food. Okay, the reason there's food imports on this is that I did import a little bit of food through the winter as well when I was saying that food crisis. I mean, we got 44 million, so I think what we will do is just try and import a small amount of electronics just to see if we can keep this going. The other thing I also did was, which I didn't mention with the biofuel, is that I've reworked the fuel distribution here. So the fuel trucks that were traveling through here to supply the fuel to this area, so I want to check that we are getting the fuel here. The distribution offices in this area now have been switched to take their fuel from here, so we are getting some fuel in that area there. And we got a lot of workers, but the problem is still productivity. You can see average productivity 43%. It's getting really dire now. And if I show you, I mean, the happiness is at 70%. I mean, I'll be honest, I think that if we've got an average happiness of 66%, I don't think we should have productivities down about 40%. I mean, I'm quite happy to take 50%, but I think the relationship is a little bit harsh at the moment with respect to productivity. In fact, we'll just do another quick look at that. Yeah, I mean, we've got a couple at 71. Don't seem to have any prisoners in here. Where's my prison buses? How many prisoners? Capacity 13. Is that because we're... I'm not exactly sure why these guys weren't unloading. Let me just check that. Oh no, you're going that way. So we are getting some prisoners in, and I mean, their productivity is pretty good, as somebody pointed out on the, not the last video, but the video before. I think at the moment all I can do is just keep trying to work the economy the best I can. If I can get this finished, I think that would be pretty good. What do you want? Steel, yeah. Isn't that a surprise? We've got a massive demand for steel right across the board. And despite all my extra trains, I'm probably still not getting, oops, the levels of steel that I need from here. All the steel's been grabbed. Actually, this could be a good point to give you an update with respect to my construction trains. I am tempted to put a second construction train in here, but at the same time it still returns to that steel issue. Where's this guy working? He's actually nearly got to here. We're actually going to need to give him a couple of extra jobs. Because for some reason, I think he's kind of got to this. He gets to this curious point with the, because you've got these like blocking. Actually, I think what I would like to do is, if possible, I can finish off this area. So say for argument's sake we give him that and that, because this has been electrified through. What I'm thinking is that I could then take one of the construction trains from the other office and send it up here, because this will shorten the journey to do the construction in this area, where one of the trains is actually working up here. So I think if I move one of them up here, we'll get a bit more productivity from the trains. Let's just have a quick look at this here. Down to 3. This guy is pushing out really nicely now. You can see we're pushing out the line this way to get to the oil terminal. I think being able to import our own oil will make quite a big difference as well. Working on this tunnel to get into here. And of course, once we've got access to our prefab area here, we'll be a lot better off. And then the other one is, where are you working? Oh, you're working out through here. And once they've got past this area, what I want to do is start getting a line into here, because if we can get in and get this stuff in, one, we can start bringing in cement and bitumen to here, so that we can do the asphalt and bitumen here, which is technically ready to go, but I just need to be able to set up the delivery lines to that. So that's something. So that means that the area where we're not laying any track is over here. And what I had him doing was electrifying up to this point and just past. And I think what I wouldn't mind doing is getting this bit built. If we can get the back curve built into here, I can then take away this loop, and then we can work on getting this done. I'm kind of half thinking about reworking this a little bit, so that I might be able to get a crossover here, so we could get trams running on here. In fact, I could probably run this up and put it there. And if I could put a crossover in, it means that we can build this when we have trams running along here. So that's the idea for there. I'm not too sure why the game's paused. I paused the game. The other thing I'm also considering is to do with electronics, because we've got a warehouse here that is connected to our network, and it's meant to be for delivery. But I am wondering whether we could get an electronics industry in, say, this corner of the map here. It'd be close enough to Stilton, and I mean, it would just be a temporary one, really, or temporary semi-permanent, because we could start manufacturing some mech components. Actually, let's just have a look at this. I mean, if we can get the basics going, it might actually help. So if we get advanced technology, right, to make electronics we need mech components, plastic and electrical components. What do we need for electrical components? Plastics, chemicals and steel. I'm just gonna take a look at the factory here, just to see if we can get At least maybe we could get, say, a small production line going. We did have we got mechanical component factory. We got Father Frost's workshop. That would give us 0.2 electronics. I think that's slightly cheaty. Also, I don't think that's really going to solve my problems making 0.2. I mean, we want electronics in quite large amounts. Maybe, I mean, the actual delivery point is over here. So I'm wondering if we say we build, say we go straight for electronics. How big is this? We could put it, but we need the ancillary warehouses and stuff like that as well, won't we? My instinct is to put it here. Say for argument's sake we got a little bit of space here. It's not that close to, how much pollution do you create? 4 tons per year. So if, say for argument's sake I put the electronics, actually let's do this, no, we'll put this here. Say like that. That's in the range of a power supply. We're gonna, so we've got that there. We're not going to pick up absolutely vast quantities of this. Oops. Again, I think if we put in more storage, open storage, I want a small warehouse. This can store 35 tons of electronics, so we'll probably get you just tucked on this corner here like that. A small warehouse like that. So we've got that there. Now an electronics needs electro components, plastic, mechanical components. So that is all one warehouse, isn't it? So we can put a normal warehouse thing there. Maybe put you back a little bit like that. Very tempted to try and manufacture the electro components as well. It's a bit big, isn't it? And what do you need? You need plastics, chemicals and steel. You just need, oops. You just need, I think what we're going to do is we're going to build this so that we can actually just import the stuff in. But we're going to probably, and then that will allow us to manufacture, at least try and save some money by importing some of the goods, because we can put in the, sorry about, I keep going back. I mean, we've got the steel, we've got the possibility of making electro components, and eventually we could make some plastic, ship that across the map. So we could slowly bring in the necessary bits and pieces to actually get this, because I think vehicle production, isn't it? Let me just check. Vehicle production needs plastics, mechanical components and electro components anyway. So eventually, sometime in the future, we'll be bringing them into here anyway. So if I put in a distribution office, oh sorry, not a distribution office, cargo station here. Actually, this, I keep on not using the what's it? I mean, I really should start using the proper one, shouldn't I? So if, say for argument's sake, we put you there. So what that will mean is we've got the beginnings of electronics industry here. It won't be very efficient, but it might actually kind of get us off the hook a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, where's my construction office here? Your job is going to, oops, you can't build any of that anyway, but you can work on, actually no, cancel. What we'll do is we'll put the road crew on this. You can actually do a job which you're actually designed to do. So you can put in that, that, and we actually need a road for. This doesn't need a gravel road because it won't be picking anything up. So put you there, and you're right next door, so you're going to enjoy building this. So we're going to got you there, and then once this is built, we could probably use the distribution offices to bring plastics and electro components in here. We'll have to control it quite strictly. And then if we can get the steel industry a little bit more productive, we can then get the steel industry doing its thing over here and supplying it. And of course we've got, is it mechanical components it needs? Sorry. Yeah, and at a pinch we could get a minimal supply of mechanical components going as well here, which will then mean that we, so what would we need to import? Sorry, my brain's frying. So we just need electro component. We don't need steel. That's good. So we just need electro components, plastics, and mechanical components. So yeah, so we can get a minimal production of mechanical components going, import the electro components and plastics into here, and then that will give us some electronics, which we can then disperse using this area here. That we can supply Stilton with electronics and then actually put stuff out there. Just talking about it, just see what our imports are now. You can see, look, we've just imported 2 tons and it's cost us 302,000. It's something we've got to really keep a close eye on. Anyway, I'm aware that I'm running out of time as usual, so we're going to kind of just have a little bit of a quick run round now and see how things are going. We're probably steel, yep. I've got a feeling that the steel mill here is probably suffering a little bit as well. Actually, this is running quite well, actually. Where are you going? Yeah, I've got a feeling that probably part of the problem is cannot produce concrete. Why can't you produce concrete? What's going on here? That's the asphalt plant. Where's the concrete plant? Concrete plant. Okay, we've got no. You probably find that what's happened is the workforce has crashed here, or there's something gone wrong here, so it's not delivering. Yep, we got never really expected to import bulk concrete here. We've got some capability here. It's going to cheat a little bit. We're not that far away from the vehicle depot anyway. We're going to get, we need someone who's really big with dry bulk and can go fast. Right, you've got 15 tons of cement. You're going to cost me a fortune, but I think 2 of these will work. We've got our dry bulk faction here. It's not going to be very efficient, but I think we can get you picking up dry bulk there, and your job is going to be to keep this nope, not that one, this one. You're going to keep this at 100%. And what that will mean is that we can bring the concrete mix down, and that's probably what's stalling my helicopters. Gravel from there. We've got prefabs and stuff there. Of course, the helicopters don't pick up bricks from here anymore. We've got some electronics in here as well. Just wondering whether we've got a problem with cement over here as well. Oh, you've got cement. Actually, How's the prefab factory here as well? Let me just see. Where's the prefab factory? Sorry, I've just overshot a little bit. Where are you? So what is actually going on with these guys? It's workers again, see? We're not getting any workers here, which is a bit of a risk because we may have... Yeah, we're not getting enough workers here. We need more people in here. Because not only have we got low productivity, we're actually stretching boundaries of what we're doing here. I'm trying to think, actually, I just set this up for dry bulk, haven't I? I think what we will do is we'll add the silo here, and what we'll do is unload 30%. 30% is 15 tons. So what that will mean is that if this problem persists, we'll get at least some in here. In fact, what we're going to do is flash out and buy another dry bulk container, and we'll just get these guys going. That should keep my economy going. One crisis after another. Talking of crisis, I'm running out of time. I think this area is just going to have to quietly... Oh no, the helicopters are getting in here. And hopefully... I mean, these shouldn't take too long to build. And then in the next part, we'll see if we can bring this place back to life again. Over in our new mining town, how's the population going here? Oops, no, that's... I think it's a bit of a mistake probably having the population here. They are actually still hanging in though, even if they are complaining a little bit about the cold. There's one worker without a job. We got some over 21s. No, we still don't have over 21s. We're still kind of not really gaining at the moment. What we're doing at the moment is just absorbing the population, aren't we? So they're kind of coming out here. I think we're just... I think I need the workforce somewhere else. So the ones who are out here will just have to live. But we'll just see how that goes. We're going to need workers out here. We need a fire station. Actually, do we have another fire station out here? Because I don't think this fire station will cover... Oh, just about. I think I'd prefer to have another fire station in this area. Let me just see, what was that? I think that was... Well, we'll look at that in a minute. Let me just do a fire station check here. Fire station. We got a fire station. It says we got a fire station here. It's built, so yes. We don't have a planned fire station in this area. I think I'd like to have one, and maybe we can just slot it on this corner here. Food and shopping pub. It's the wrong one. Emergency fire station. I know technically we could probably do it. I think if we can just put you there, we make you a little bit longer, and we'll get this guy out. Yeah, the impressive list is the fact I'm using this guy in a delivery role as well as laying roads. I mean, the general road structure isn't major, so we'll have a fire station which will provide fire coverage from here. What was that building? Where was it? So many messages coming in so quickly. This one, wasn't it? Got 9 pages in an hour. Yeah, the loyalty's dropping here, 28%. So we've got population stagnation now. But I don't think there's much I can do about that at the moment. As long as we can hold our everything together, hopefully we can get on top of it and then keep things under control. How are we doing here? We got mech components here. We're getting a little bit of steel coming into here. I just would like to get this area here built up and finished. Right, we've now got a workforce in here. Great. And we should now be getting a little bit building without power supply, but that should be okay. And at the moment I'm just quite happy for some food to be coming into here. Now what I would like to do is guarantee this area. You should be, I want to see if you're distributing food or whatever. I still need to keep on sorting these distribution offices out. They're just such a kind of general mismatch of what. So that's meat distribution. So who's distributing food? Yeah, you're distributing food. So what I'd like to do is put you onto this here as well. So you can pick up food from here. And that means that to begin with, what you're going to do is guarantee the food supply to this local area, which is the main reason I wanted to build this. So what that will mean is that the food supply coming out of here, which is still, I mean, it's gaining, which is good. But this food supply will support this area, but more importantly, will be sending food to here, which then can be distributed across the map. So I think we're in a position now where things may start to come together. Quick check here. Yeah, we're now getting the cement in here, which is brilliant. One crisis after another. Yeah. One thing I did notice with this cement plant is its demand for gravel is pretty big. So what I really should have done is built a bigger thing here. Can't understand why this is not being built. I really need this to sort out the overall distribution. So I think we'll put that in there. Actually, just make sure that these guys, where are you? I don't think these have got a lot to do. In fact, they've got a whole lot of things to do, but I think most of it is working at range. So I just want to make sure. I think we'll put you on that as well. In fact, I think what we'll do is get these guys working on that and that as well. And I just want to check the road crew that was here as well. He's a little bit redundant at the moment because the roads he's working on, again, you can see I'm actually using him for delivery because he's actually working on roads right out here, but he probably needs some extra work on. Yeah, so he's working on that road there. And then I think the other road he was working on was right out here. But I think because I've been letting these guys do their own thing, they've effectively just been out here kind of building these the best they can. So this one's nearly finished. In fact, I'm not exactly sure how he got past that to build that. Oh, these are the helicopters building this, sorry. Yeah. So at this rate, we could be out right the way out here, which probably means I've got to start thinking a little bit. Sorry about shooting across the map again. The possibility of getting a road out to here, or maybe even putting in the power supply here, but we could get the road out to here. We might be able to get some exports for dollars. Let me just get here. Where are we? So we're kind of knocking this place together. We've got second block of flats here. So we've actually got enough flats now for this to come together. So if we can get more of the infrastructure put, actually, I think we've got enough now to set a bus route up for the heating plant. So we're going to put some workers on there. Not be patrolled. Yep. Yeah, I think I've got a bus down over here. Or did I use them? I can't remember now. What I've been doing is shoving various vehicles into here. Actually, how many workers do I need for this? 30. So what we really need is either a series of minibuses or a couple of... I actually quite like these things. These have got 32 seaters. I think if we get a couple of those and then we're just push you over to there, and then we're just set a line up from, say, you're gonna pick up from there and you're gonna unload there. You just rename. I'm gonna call this mining heating, actually iron mining heating, because there's only going to be one iron mining on the thing, so we should be able to identify it. And then we'll save that, put you on there. Line spacing, let me just see, well, just put you there. Oops, don't want tourists. Get you there. You can come out and we can get some heating going. And of course, eventually what we'll need is this bus stop to also take ordinary passengers, because anyone who wants a university education is going to have to come to here. And it looks like the good old productivity now is starting to affect. Actually, we could probably just smidge that up a little bit. How's the unemployment here? One final thing before we finish. I'm just going to one more quick check of the my trains. Oh, they're all going quite well. They're actually keeping busy. I think they're being kept busy because they've got quite big jobs at the moment. So just going to come here. This guy's going in. Of course, I think part of the problem is the steel. So he's actually working his way out here now. We need more workers. This guy is still pushing out this way. And this guy is nearly to this bit here, so we can soon get this finished. And then what is this guy working on? He's gone back to there, which probably means that he's laid the track to the border. Ah, he's got himself trapped here. What's the signals here? That might fix him. Yeah, this is a one-way signal, so he was able to get in, but he wasn't able to get out. That's my fault. This is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.